like to call this council meeting of April 28th to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Orchakowski. Here. Councilperson Thomas.
Here.
Councilman Nestor.
Present.
Councilman Gregor.
Present.
Mayor Mosher.
Present. Once again, we've got some issues with going to Facebook. Forgive me, I think we got things squared away finally in long last. With that, I'd like to ask Lois to start it off with an opening prayer.
Bow our heads just for a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come now, Lord, with our heads and humble hearts, just realizing that you are God and God alone. It looks to you that we must look for our help coming from you. So Heavenly Father, we ask you bind us together on one accord tonight as we come together to conduct the business of the city of Monessen. Grant us wisdom and knowledge and understanding according to your word, that we may do what is best for the city, striving to move it forward and upward. May your will be done today on earth as it is in heaven. And all of God's people say, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Pledge allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see, could everybody take a look at the minutes from the previous session, and we need a motion to accept them.
Mayor, motion to approve minutes of previous session of April 14th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Councilman Gregor.
Aye.
Councilman Nestor.
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski.
Yes.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comment on agenda items only.
Just let me telegraph this 29 minutes. This is for the finance director here. Can you tell me, Mr. Thurman, now that you've got 93 down to 92,000, what does that leave us currently as a balance in the books?
It's my burning.
Is it on?
Yeah, you just went.
We also got the 48,000 from last meeting that you've taken out today, right? You're gonna vote on it. So if you take that out plus the 92,000, what does that leave us currently in the bank account?
You want me to tell you now, or you want me to tell you my report that breaks it all down?
You gonna have it in there?
Yeah, whatever you want,
Okay.
yeah. It'll break it down exactly.
That's what the correction
Yes.
figures a little bit different. Okay. And then, Mr. Mayor, I'm confused here on this, $7,500. The $7,500 that you want to pay $1,500 for how many months? 5 months? What is this that you're transferring one blight inventory to our juice outside?
Yeah, I'll describe that a little bit more in detail when we get to that point. But what it basically boils down to is the county has a blight inventory that they work with. And the county has the money for doing the demolition. So we need to participate with that if we're expecting to have the county participation with Monessen.
Okay, so you're gonna be getting the $7,500?
No, we have to pay $7,500,
And what
and
do you get?
what we get in return hopefully is millions of dollars.
You will. And
That's
what's
the
that gonna
hope.
be returned?
Maybe as early as this coming month. There's a lot of pressure from the federal government, yes. I can't say that for sure, but there's a lot of pressure from the federal government.
Okay, and one last question. What are you gonna do when the building comes down? Do you have any plans for that area?
That too is something that is part of the comprehensive plan, and absolutely we'll talk about that some more in a few minutes too.
Okay, but who owns that building? The city?
The
or-
city owns it.
Okay, not to redevelop.
No.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other comments on agenda items? With that, do we have any correspondence with old business? Hearing none, we'll turn this over to the solicitor for his report.
Good evening, everybody. First, the tax forgiveness program, the outline for the revised program has been completed. I believe the mayor will be discussing that a little later tonight's evening. I believe he sent it over to the school district yesterday. And it was also sent to the County Tax Claim Bureau to get any of their comments. The second item, the chief of police contract is on the agenda tonight, working with the mayor to complete that. And finally, the Penvest loan for phase 4 of the sewage project closed this afternoon. So that will be getting up to speed here in the next few weeks. That's all I had for this evening.
Thank you. Is there a report from the city treasurer? Is there anything new?
The report of the treasurer was provided at the end of business on March 31st. At the end of business for March 31st, 2022, at the April 14th, 2022 council session. So there's no other report today.
Very good, thank you. And your city control report?
Report of the city controller for the city of Monessen was provided for the end of business on March. Report of the city controller of the city of Monessen was provided for the end of business on March 31st, 2022 at the April 14th, 2022 council session. No additional report to give.
You have to hit all the questions. Don't look at that.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to recognize Councilman John Nestor, to introduce a new resident, Reggie Jones.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, would you like to approach the podium and give your presentation, please? Thank you for taking the time to come out.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Reggie James Jr. from Inglewood, California. First, I just want to introduce myself and tell you how I got here. It wasn't because of the weather. Everybody keep asking me. So I just want to let you know.
I'm sure.
But it was the cost of living. It wasn't until I got here when I realized that there were actually more opportunities for me and my family here versus there. The safety, the peace, and how nice you guys are here.
Welcome to Monessen.
Thank you, sir. I did grow up in a gang in Los Angeles, California. In 2007, in my 20s, I was tired of leaving my kids and my wife. This is Regina here. My kids were 4 and 2 at the time, and it was that last time I had the felony for possession of marijuana for sales where I realized that if I wanted my kids to do right, I had to do right. I got out in 2008 and I started volunteering, coaching youth sports from ages 4 to about 8. Next thing I know, parents were asking me to do more with their kids. I started a nonprofit at that time, which was called Ball Books and Beyond. I ran that from 2009 to 2012. I didn't sign up for all of this, but I ended up doing this all.
What happens when you say I will?
I started working at a charter school in Compton, California. I started going to school from 2013 to 19. I earned my bachelor's in human services management and then a master's in education. I was told that I would get my salary double if I got that master's. The school closed. And I was devastated. And I told my wife we had to get out of California. She needed 2 more years before she could retire from Torrance Unified School District. My daughter was a sophomore, and I had been raising her and coaching and teaching her basketball, so I couldn't move them. So I came by myself. I went to Philadelphia and took a summer job. I stayed out with my dad, and I worked with young boys that had neurological issues. And I thought I had neurological issues when I started working with them. It was insane. I didn't know that that would only be prepping me for my next stage. I looked for permanent work here in Pennsylvania, and I found Outside In School. I thought it was a school. I thought I was going to be doing the normal traditional school thing again, but it was a juvenile justice facility. I went to tour it, and I said, I think I like this better than what I've been doing. I think this might be another calling. So I started at the bottom. I knew that there couldn't be too many people that can do this job better than me, just because of my understanding of the culture, my experience with dealing with families, parents, troubled youth, and then my education all combined quickly pushed me up in the job. I'm now a youth and family supervisor there, where I'm constantly being inspired to do what I am trying to do here in Monessen. Very often, we get these young boys who intentionally not make it through the program because they're scared of what comes next. They do not understand structure. When they find that structure, they don't want to leave it. They don't trust people. When they find somebody they trust, it's hard for them to leave. So they, like I say, intentionally do not leave. So my idea and what I want to do is to start a group home, more like a transitional living facility, more long-term, for those who not only may be scared to leave, but don't really have another option. For one reason or another, they can't go back to their parents. That's what I want to do for the youth. But then, in terms of helping Monessen with this same project, I believe having these young boys could do something with the businesses in this area. The first thing that comes to mind is that Douglas Education Center right there. So I just started kind of working on a little plan, and I just wanted to share my mission statement is accepting the loss, nurturing the dreams, and preparing for success. And the vision is to provide a home with structure and care to give juvenile boys who do not have this opportunity elsewhere. Ultimately, we want our young men to believe they can achieve their dreams while they are fully supported within this organization. I thank you all for the time. I'm going to stick around. Oh, questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
This home that you want to build, how much occupancy are you looking at? Will you house 5, 10, 20, 40?
When I first shared this idea with a coworker. I thought about doing it by myself with 5 to 10. Between my supervisor and a couple other people, they telling me, they pushing me to try to find something, 30 beds. So I'm not that far into the business plan right now. I actually did not want to do this until I finish school. I'm working on a doctorate right now, and I have 2 years left, but it kind of seemed like now is the time.
These other co-workers, are they from Philadelphia or are they from around here?
They're on Westmoreland. They work with me at Outside In School in Ligonier or Boulevard, Pennsylvania.
And you registered as a 501c3
That's-
nonprofit?
That's my plan.
Okay, you haven't done that yet?
No, sir.
You gonna reach out for some grants or foundation money?
Well, so right now, all I wanted to know is if this was an idea that would be accepted and supported by Monessen, and if I get that blessing from Monessen, I will proceed to implement a 501c3, whatever licensures I need, and so forth.
One last question. If you do get the 501c3, what do you expect Monessen to do for you?
I don't expect anybody to do anything. If they,
Provide you a building or?
that would be fantastic.
Because we got plenty of buildings here and nobody's occupied.
I see. Is there another question over there?
No, I just want to tell you, I wish you the best. We wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Very, very much.
And I apologize, Mr. James.
What I can say is we're blessed to have people such as yourself.
Thank you, sir.
And I also think that once you get started, I think you're going to find a lot of people, even men, that are willing to help you. There are a lot of men that have always had a lot of associated with the young boys in town, but they are now, a lot of them are now retired. So I'm sure they will be willing to help you. Used to run they used to have a place called Agape up on the top of the hill. That were, it was like a day program for kids who weren't doing well in the school system, so they went there. So the Valley has a lot of resources to help you. We have a lot of agencies that can help you, nonprofits. You'd be amazed at resources you have living in the Valley. So once you're ready to go on board, just give us a call. I work for a nonprofit, a large one that's in Westmoreland, Fayette County, Washington, and also Westmoreland, and also now in Butler. So it's a large nonprofit. So we have the families that are Monessen, so there are a lot of resources for you that you can get help.
Appreciate it. I'm right here.
Thank you for taking the time to come here to your wife. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. You guys live in Monessen now?
Yes.
What street do you live?
I actually live on Lincoln Street.
Well, welcome to Monessen. How long have you guys been here?
We bought our house December 2020. My
Well,
wife
welcome.
just came here this past June.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, that was a pleasure. Well, as everybody knows, I enjoy motorcycles, and I've got a proclamation here because May is a national month for this. So my proclamation, whereas many individuals enjoy the freedom of traveling in Pennsylvania streets and highways on motorcycles, and whereas motorcycles are less visible than cars and are often unseen by motorists, causing lots of motorcycle riders be injured or killed in motorcycle accidents each year. And whereas the number of vehicles, including motorcycles, is expected to increase on Pennsylvania roads in the coming years. And whereas a concerted effort to bring motorcycle safety and rider awareness to the forefront is being made to keep riders safe. And whereas all licensed vehicle operators have the same rights and privileges on our roads and highways. All motorists should be aware of their surroundings while driving. Now therefore, I, Ron Moser, Mayor of the third-class city of Monessen, in the county of Westmoreland, in the state of Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in the city of Monessen. Thank you. Well, let's see, we have the mayor, the solicitor and myself have been working quite a bit on coming up with a plan for a tax forgiveness, tax exoneration program. And this is really the result of some ideas that were put forth by the previous administration. And to be honest, I think the previous administration was brilliant for coming up with the idea. It is a fantastic idea. The only problem I had with it was the implementation of it introduced a whole series of potential problems. There is a handout that was on the counter up there, hopefully everybody got it, that talks about a revision to our tax exoneration program, tax forgiveness program. And it's really tries to put together something that works between the city, the county, and the school system. And that was really the thing that was flawed in the previous package, was that it only addressed the city. The school was left out of the program, and the school, quite honestly, is only exonerated just a very small handful of homes. And as a result, there's just a large number of people that have homes that they've been working on that are in a predicament where if they invest a lot of money in it, somebody could conceivably go down to the county and buy that house out from underneath them for a bargain price by paying off the school taxes. So it is something that we need to address. There's a couple of things, just some of the highlights of what he was trying to do was he was offering opportunity for somebody that wouldn't otherwise, might not otherwise have the ability to own a home. And that somewhat is a part of the issue, because there's some people that got these homes that really didn't have the ability, the understanding, or the capability to bring these homes up to a livable status. You have to understand that most of these homes that were made part of this program were homes that have been vacated and empty for many years. That many of them had faulty roofs, faulty foundations, faulty walls, things like that. And so you had to first off understand the house that you were getting before you even made an attempt to get it. There are some people that were very, very astute at it, had the resources to do it, and have done quite well with it. There's others that literally have done nothing or are stymied and probably will never have the ability to do it. So what this really does is, I want to first off establish a new board. This board would consist of people from the school, people appointed by the school board and people appointed by the council. Presumably it would be people from the school board and people from the council, but I don't know that that's absolutely a requirement. That's something that I'll leave up to the solicitor to think about a little bit. But this board really needs to, first off, meet with the people before they get down this road too far. Are they capable of doing what they think they can do? Are they capable of doing this? Some of them are capable of doing this in a grand scale. Some of them are not capable at all. But more than anything, we need to make sure that they're even, first off, qualified, that they're not somebody that already owes taxes. If we're going to forgive taxes on a new place, it's because we want to turn it into a taxable place. We don't want to create this propagate a problem on and on. So, and I'll let the solicitor talk about this for just a minute, but there are some methods that we have at our disposal to exonerate taxes that are very favorable for the school and the county. In other words, we can there are methods of doing that. Some of them involve even potentially giving the house to the city. The city could at that time, through third class city code, as I understand it, exonerate the taxes, county and school included, with some cooperation, of course. But then the city doesn't want to own the house. The person that had the house needs to own it. So you either give it back to them, or you use the redevelopment authority to give it back to them. But there's some plans like that that need to be worked through. And I would really like to see a board that has this as their foundation, their charter, to come up with all the details on how this works. One of the thought would be to limit it, to applicant can only have one house. He can do another house until he gets that one finished. Well, there's people I know of that can do multiple houses, that have investors that can handle multiple houses. So that doesn't necessarily hold water. But all of this together, to play right, as I understand it, will require that there be a legal document that's entered into between the person who's getting the tax forgiveness and the city, the county. I'm gonna let the solicitors talk about this in more detail.
Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor said, there are a couple different methods of which how taxes can be forgiven. The first would be that an applicant goes to the board that the mayor discussed, fill out an application. The taxes would be recommended to city council and the school district to be exonerated. They would also have to go to the county for an exoneration, which happens after the city and the school district. The other method is under the Municipal Claims Tax and Liens Act. There's a provision in there that homeowners can donate their properties to the city and have their taxes forgiven. That's a little more of an involved process because the city would have to notify, similar to the demolition hearings that we had, notify the county and the school district that, hey, they're donating this property and we're going to forgive their taxes. The issue with that is the city would have the property. The city's kind of handcuffed by the 35 city code to transfer that to an applicant. So it would involve the redevelopment authority to be able to do that. They have less restrictive methods to redevelop, and this really essentially is a redevelopment project to get these houses back on the tax rolls. I think the big change to this project is going to be the qualification process. There really was none under the old agreement. There's going to have to be things like an application fee. Proposed applicants are going to have to get a title search because the city doesn't want to sign up a property that has a mortgage or some other type of lien that they cannot resolve or get rid of. And if those liens are still remaining on the property, we run into the issue where somebody could spend, $10,000 repairing a house and somebody could take that house away from them. We're going to show evidence of tax certifications on how much tax is owed on this property. We're going to want tax certifications on other tax properties that an applicant owns to make sure they're not delinquent in their real estate taxes. They're going to be required to sign an affidavit of non-collusion just to show that they're not related from a familial relationship or a business relationship with the current owner of the property. What we were seeing through some of these instances, maybe a partnership owned the property, the partnership deeded the property over to a partner. Things like that cannot happen because it's a loophole that they're evading paying their delinquent real estate taxes. And there also will be an affidavit of non-displacement. But if somebody's giving their property to an applicant who wants to rehab it, we want to make sure that that person giving up the property is not going to not have a home or somewhere to live. And all of this will be put in an ordinance. We're waiting on feedback from the school district, as we said earlier. And this board will be charged with reviewing these applications to make sure everybody's qualified to be into this program. And it'll all involve another agreement. And part of that agreement is going to require these applicants to rehab this up to a certain amount based on taxes. That hasn't been finalized yet. Right now it's 3 times the amount of delinquent taxes. And if they don't, they're going to face a breach of contract claim, likely at the magistrate's office, and there'll be a lien placed on that house. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, I do think that I would like to ask you to go ahead and draw up the required motion to establish the board at our next meeting. Get this going.
Could I have the input this board has to have teeth. So when it decides to do something, the school board is gonna follow suit.
Oh, they're gonna be part of this board. They
Yeah,
have to be
but
part.
they have to have
Yeah,
teeth. They
yeah.
can't say, we're gonna go back and
Right.
discuss it in a
Right.
huddle, because then we got nothing.
At the end of the day, the board is gonna be controlled by the ordinance. If you want to establish a steering committee based on the similar individuals who will likely be on this board, that's a good course of action. You would have representatives from the school district and the city talking directly to move this program along. But at the end of the day, we will have to draft an ordinance, and we don't want to do that until we hear what the school has to say about this program.
All right, I will present this to them at their next school board meeting as well. I did have lunch with Dr. Spazak just a couple of days ago, and we did talk about this. She is very eager to enter into something that takes into account the school's position, and I think that they will be very, very eager to join us, but you're right. I will take that advisement.
Yes. You people need help down there, I'll help them. Listen, I got so much energy, I'll help them whatever they need to got.
With that, there is a resolution. I'd like to offer a resolution for consideration by the council here. This is a resolution to modify the 2020 CD program, part of the CDD budget, in the amount of $48,037, and adding a new item for repairs to the Civic Center HVAC improvements in the same amount, $48,037. This is something that we had a CDBG meeting on last week to do, and this is following through. And with that, I'm thinking we need a motion to accept that.
We have a motion to accept the resolution number 4, 2022 of the City of Monessen, approving a modification to the FFY 2020 CV program and deleting the budget line item for housing assistance within the CDBG budget in the amount of $48,037, and adding a new budget line item for repairs to the Civic Center HVAC improvements in an amount of $48,037.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Are there any other questions concerning this? Call the roll, please.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to permit the, do you need to read something first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to present a motion to permit the participation of the City of Monessen and its police, fire departments, EMS, and other interested citizens and residents in a parade in honor of graduating seniors of the Monessen School District at approximately 7:15 p.m. on Friday, May 27, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? I'd like to point out that this parade will most likely follow the same path they did last year. This is in recognition of all the graduating seniors, and will basically take the route of all the buses that serve the school district. So it's going to be all through residential Monessen, parading the students. They'll be moving along, but nonetheless, this is a time for us to recognize the graduating class of 2022.
Congratulations to the class of 2022.
Can you call the roll, please?
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson?
She would like to ask, request permission to hang the director's signs on.
That's a different motion.
Is it in there?
Yes.
That's within their, that's within the request that they had for that, so, yeah, the signs also.
Is that, I thought it was a separate motion.
No, no.
So, no, okay, so this will include putting signs
Yes.
along the fence on Grand Boulevard, along City Park. So there will be, just in the past, as the same in the previous years, there'll be a picture and a name of all the graduating students, a poster for each and every one of them, all along the road as you drive by City Park.
Yes. Any other comments, questions? I'll start that again then. Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. At this time, I'm going to talk a little bit about our $500 project. And as everybody that came down here today, I'm sure noticed that today, things are starting to look a little bit different along Fifth and Donner. By the end of tomorrow, I think it'll be even more so. Sometime in the very near future, you'll see nothing but a reclaimed vacant lot there. That hasn't been an easy process. It's been a necessary process, though. It's been one that has been fraught with countless challenges along the way. I want to thank everybody for especially our engineering group and so forth that stepped up to the bat and addressed all the different challenges we had. Everything from the historical significance of this building. And as you recall, we had one of the historians come in and give a presentation on the history of that building. We had issues with abating the building, and we've addressed those with the way that they remove the windows and the asbestos from the building first and keep the building wetted and so forth. We had issues with the water. We had issues with the pigeons. We had issues with the excrement of the pigeons. We had just about everything you can think of with that building has been presented to us with a challenge. All along, it has been a threat to the city that there has been obstructing the Fifth Avenue. It's been obstructing Donner. It has been a problem. And to be honest, I'm just tickled to death that finally, at long last, we're going to put an end to that building.
Hey, Ron, I like how that guy got that claw for that machine. He put that claw up in there, and he takes that building and it starts ripping down. That's amazing.
So far, they've done an excellent job. I'm really impressed with that firm that we hired. At this time, I'm requesting a motion for a handicap sign.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a handicap sign for Denise Zwicky at their residence at 614 Oneida Drive, Monessen, PA 15062.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski? Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. So,
Are we continuing?
yeah, go ahead.
We'd like to make a motion for approval and continued participation and implementation of a blight plan for the city of Monessen with the county of Westmoreland, and identification of strategies and the writing of a blight plan, and to transition the current blight inventory to a more interactive and public ArcGIS hub site. The cost for these services will be $7,500 to be billed on a monthly basis of $1,500, and will be allocated out of the ARP fund budget for payment.
Could I have a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions? I will explain this just a little bit more so that everybody understands what it is. This was actually sitting on my desk when we assumed office at the beginning of the year. At the time, we didn't have any money whatsoever to do anything. Since that time, a lot of things have changed. For one thing, I went to a blight boot camp in Youngwood just this last week, whereby there was several hundred people, such as myself, mayors, council people, code officers from all over the state. And they had a very, very well picked group of people that were doing various presentations. It became very clear to me that you're never going to get anywhere with blight if you don't understand what blight you have. You've got to have an inventory. The inventory needs to be accurate. It needs to say this house is blight. You know, you can take a picture of the house and you just hold it up there. And they demonstrated this over and over again. And say, what does this picture look like? Somebody will say, oh, that's blight, that's horrible, it's dangerous. And that was really the key thing, that First off, you just look at a house, you can't tell if it's occupied or not. I know from campaigning, I went to many houses, knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody answered the door. And I'm not saying anything derogatory about it, but there's just different standards by which people live and so forth. The bottom line is, it requires an accurate blight inventory if we're going to do anything with our blight problem. We know that this town used to have some 20,000 people or more. Right now, our population is less than 7,000. That says that basically there's 3 or 4 empty homes for every home that there's occupied. Now, some of them have been demolished in over the years and so forth. But the bottom line is we have a lot of homes that are unoccupied, that are blight, that are a danger to the community. They're a danger to they just invite all kinds of problems, from rodents to all kinds of illicit activity. So this program here really is to gain access to the county's blight inventory, where we have application and we can have people that interact with this, that can take pictures and answer questions about these blighted homes. But it will put together a completed blighted inventory. Why is that so important? Because right now, I think that Monessen I think this whole country is in a very unique position in this grand scheme of things. That last year, the government, federal government, sent out ARP funds. They sent out a lot of money. This county of Westmoreland got $105 million of this ARP money. Well, ARP money can be used for lots of things, and they had some rules associated with this, and they had public hearings, and they said, we need to have some ARP money for rent assistance, some ARP money for health care, some money for infrastructure, all the things that ARP is set up to do. But in the end, they ended up with something along the lines of, the best I can tell, about $12 million that they have earmarked for blight in Westmoreland County. There is a map that the commissioners have of Westmoreland County. This money has to go, first off, to one of the 5 third-class cities in Westmoreland County. It has to be a third-class city. A borough, a township, doesn't count. It has to go to a third-class city. So you got Arnold, Kensington, Greensburg, Jeanette, and us. So the five communities here, it needs to go that. And they had this map, and they laid this all out, and they took this blight inventory that I'm talking about, and they put dots on the map where this was. And you can see some dots up at Jeanette, some dots up at New Kensington, some dots at Arnold, and a whole bunch of dots around Monessen. The point being is, the federal government is now putting pressure on the county to spend that money. It's not, they didn't just send that money out to sit in the bank somewhere. They sent it out to do good to the people. And they are putting pressure on it. As I understand it, and I could be wrong about this, but as I understand it, they need to spend that money during the month of May. So this is going to happen quick. I think that we have some excellent opportunities here. There are some people with some very big ideas that are working with this money, but Monessen needs to get our I would say that's our share, but we truly have what the federal government says they should be sending money on for blight. We have a lot of it, and we needed to do that. So this program here really falls into that same plan, that we need to get on board with it. We need to be part of it. It will come from the Westmoreland County. This is a Westmoreland County program, and without being on board with it, I think that we would be just forgotten about, just as we've been forgotten about many times before. So with that said, is there any other questions or comments?
Is this the one they were working on when we were doing a comprehensive plan? I think, because they came to our meeting. And I
Yes.
think this was the site they were
Yes.
working on.
Yes. Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Nestor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Mosher.
Yes.
Make a motion that the property located at 1220 Knox Avenue, Monessen, Pennsylvania, 15062, tax map number 20-02-06, 0-123 be officially declared a public nuisance and be scheduled for demolition.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions on the motion? I'll point out that this was held during a public hearing immediately prior to this council meeting.
Call roll. Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Make a motion that the property located at 511 Summit Avenue, Monessen, PA 15062, tax map number 20-02-07-0-206, be officially declared a public nuisance and be scheduled for demolition.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions? Call roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Make a motion that the property located at 28 Schoonamaker Avenue, Monessen, PA 15062, tax map number 20-02-04-0-043, be officially declared a public nuisance and be scheduled for demolition.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I make a motion that the property located at 109 Elm Street, Monessen, PA 15062, tax map number 20-02-07-0-696, be officially declared a public nuisance and be scheduled for demolition.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I make a motion that the property located at 270 Perenni Boulevard, Monessen, Pennsylvania 15062, tax map number 20-02-08-0-062, be officially declared a public nuisance and be scheduled for demolition.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Call roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that the property located at 301 Lenawee Avenue, Monessen, PA 15062, tax map number 20-02-08-0-205, be officially declared a public nuisance and be scheduled for demolition.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes, I will like to make one real quick comment on that. First off, 301 Lenawee was declared an emergency a couple weeks ago. It actually started collapsing on the house next door, and I declared it an emergency. The house has been demolished already. So,
Just to add to that, the reason it wasn't part of tonight's demolition hearings, the owner signed off on the demolition.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the employment contract of City of Monessen Police Chief David Uhas for the term of April 28, 2022 to January 12, 2023.
is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes. Before I relinquish the podium here for a second, I did blow right on by one of the steps that I had. When I was talking about 500 Donner, it was also my chance to talk about the economy of Monessen. And if everybody had the opportunity, there is a one-page front and back that's on the counter over there that has what I really want to talk about. First off, the economics of Monessen has been something of discussion for some time. Money is tight, there's no doubt. It is tight. Does that mean that I'm desperate? No. It means money's tight, we've got to respond accordingly. But in order to understand exactly where we're at, I pulled all the audits over the last 5 years. And they were done by two different companies. One was done by Cipher and Cipher. A couple of years were done by McClure and Wolf. And the way the audits are prepared is basically the same, but there are some just subtle differences in the way that they're put together. But nonetheless, I took all 5 years and I listed them out. What are the assets that the document shows? What are the liabilities? And what is the net position? What is the net position? What is the value of the city at the end of the year? And in 2016, it was interesting. It was $2.4 million. In 2017, it was cut in half, and it's now $1.2 million. In 2018, it dropped to minus $4.7 million. In 2019, it improved by $180,000, but it's still minus $4.5 million. And in 2020, it's minus $7 million. And after picking myself up off the floor, I started looking at this. Well, first off, that's kind of apples and oranges that we're trying to compare here. And there's a little bit of caution you have to use in looking at these numbers. The numbers are very true that the last three years we were running negative. There's no doubt about that. But there's some accounting rules that have changed along the way that had to do with something they call OPEB, other post-employment benefits. This is the benefits that our police and city workers get after they retire. This is not their pension, but rather the insurance costs, the health care costs, the prescriptions, everything that goes along with that. And believe it or not, the liability, the way the state requires it to be posted, is huge. In fact, in 2020, it was $22 million. So that is different than what was the way it was reported in 2016. So it really self-defeated my purpose of trying to figure out where the city's going with this. So in the course of doing things, I got access to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is the accounting system that the city uses. And started thinking about how I can use this to look at the same kind of numbers. And QuickBooks, you have to understand, is really for a profit business normally. It's for a business where you have the assets, liabilities, and equity, whether you're making or losing money. But that's not the way that it works in a city. A city is really one of cash management with taxes and expenses that the city incurs. But I did sit down and look at that for some degree. And first off, the QuickBooks doesn't have the buildings, the parks, all these different assets in it that a audit would have. It also doesn't have the long-term expense loans that we have, the loan for the Monessen Rising, the loans that we're doing for the sewer now, all these different things. These are liabilities that we've got. They're very real, but it's not really built into the QuickBooks per se. QuickBooks turns out, the way we're using it, is an excellent cash management tool. Show all the taxes coming in and all the expenses going out. And if you look at this one page here, as of this morning, when I ran this, we had a total of $840,000 in the checking account. We had $1.8 million in assets, and we had $2.6 million in liabilities. These aren't, bear in mind, these aren't our long-term liabilities. This is just real-time cash management liabilities we have now. That we're down $750,000, $796,000, or whatever that number is. I can't read it without my glasses. So you start thinking about this a little bit, and we need to be careful. We need to start being extremely careful. One of the things that took place, I promised I would not ever blame anybody. I also don't want to give credit to somebody for doing something either, so I'm going to have to be really careful how I say do this. But there was one year where we were very tight on our money. It happened to be in 2019. And in fact, although we ran a negative number, we improved it by $180,000. And that was because money was tight. we've got to understand that our population is shrinking, our tax dollars is coming down, we can't raise the taxes anymore, we're at 43.11 mils, the max it can be by state law. We have to learn to work to operate within the bounds of the revenue we have. It doesn't mean that we have any less roads to maintain when the snow comes. It doesn't mean we have any less grass to mow when it comes time to mow the grass. It means we have less money to do it. And that's the very basic facts of life. We've got to learn to be more efficient in what we do. We've got to learn to be able to do more with less. It just doesn't work any other way. So you might say, okay, well, we got things happening besides all this. We did in 2017, they did a early intervention program. This was something that the administration back then did. And it concluded by saying that there is no imminent financial crisis. In 2017, there wasn't. And if you look at the audit on 2017, they were $1.2 million to the good. So there was no immediate crisis there. They also said that without good management, you'll have problems in the future. But they also did a forecast. It was a 5-year plan. So I spent 5 years since then. So voila, we can compare their forecast to what we actually did. And it turns out that our expenses have gone up by 5% over what they said. And yet our revenue has gone down because of loss of population. So over the last 5 years, we've gone negative on the audits, and that is, in fact, very true. So in 2022, this year, everybody's aware of what happened when we came in here, but there's a couple things that have not been done to this date. We still not paid the MMO for our police for last year. That's $400,000. That's $200,000, excuse me.
180.
Not even,
Over 16,000 for the
It's-
firefighters.
but it's gone more because we've got penalties and interest that's
Oh, yeah.
taken place. And that is the problem with this, is you don't pay these bills, they come and get you. And it's just like you're running a house, you don't pay a bill, they're sooner or later going to come get you. Your water bill you're not paying, pretty soon you're not going to have water. Or electric bill or anything else. So it's absolutely critical that we pay these bills. And it's going to be my recommendation to our chief financial officer that he start making payments on that immediately as soon as possible. To that end, I do have a meeting with, and I can't say his name, Krish, I'm just going to call him Krish. You can say it, yeah, what are they? Okay. But anyway, he is the owner of Best Medical, who owns the old Health Mart on Eastgate, at 11, or on Eastgate, 1 Raymond Drive. Just so everybody knows, here a couple months ago, they had a pipe break in the roof on the 3rd floor. That pipe break flooded the 3rd floor. It ran to the 2nd floor, did more damage on the 2nd floor than the 3rd floor. Ran down to the ground floor and pretty much took out all of the walls, everything on the ground floor. He had insurance, luckily. He's in the process of rebuilding that building. It will be better than it ever was before. He will have new heating in it, new air conditioning. The wiring will be up to code. It'll be much better than it was before. But I also expect that he pay us. He owes us about $190,000 plus interest, effective June. Well,
Is he gonna pay?
I'll let you know after I meet with him on Sunday.
He has been paying, hasn't he?
No.
He did pay for a couple of years, but during the course of the prior administration, he had issues with that and he didn't pay them. So the bottom line is, all indications are he's going to pay. He'll probably pay with insurance money. But nonetheless,
Excuse me, Mayor, wasn't he paying $900 interest or quarterly interest?
he was, but he did in the last couple of years.
I thought he did.
He wasn't consistent.
So he didn't pay.
I don't believe he has. Yeah. At least in my purview of QuickBooks, I did not find any evidence he had. But I do expect him to pay, and pay all the back interest as as the note requires, that he do that. To be honest, we're kind of in a pickle at this point, because I sure don't want that building back in the state it's in right now. Now, if he gets it all fixed back up, I would love to have it back, but if it gets all fixed back up, he's gonna be, of course, interested in paying us. So his future plans are critical to whether we're gonna see this money or not. But anyway, let me continue here. The early intervention plan was a plan that started in 2017. As I said, they informed us that we weren't really in a position, we need to go Act 47, 2022. They changed their mind. They said, you missed your MMO, you're having trouble making payroll. You do meet the requirements for going Act 47. Everybody here knows I have adamantly refused that, and I will continue to adamantly refuse to do that. I have had discussions with them that if they were to become the proprietors of the city of Monessen through Act 47, there's only two things they can do different than what I can do. The first of which is they have 5 years, I only have 4 years, presuming that you don't put me back in office in 4 years, because I want to be in office. But they have a little bit longer than my 4-year term. And the second is they have the ability to unilaterally establish all the contracts with the union. There is no negotiation whatsoever. It becomes what they say. They will, and you can look at what they've done with other cities. Monessen would not be the first to ever do this. This has happened over and over and over again with many different cities throughout Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, as an example, they had pensions, they had all different kinds of problems, they had liabilities, expenses way up here. They went Act 47, and the first thing they did is they renegotiated all those expenses. Now, bear in mind, their income's way down here. They renegotiated all those contracts and union things. The bottom line is it came down to about here. And the next thing that happened is they still didn't meet. So they reappraised everybody's house and raised everybody's taxes, because where I'm limited to 44.11 mils, they're not. They raised the taxes, and bingo, they got them to match. They put Pittsburgh on even keel. They ran it for several years. And just in the last couple of years, they're finally coming out of Act 47. Well, it wasn't fun for the people that had to pay the increased taxes. I wouldn't be fun for Monessen. I want to be very, very frugal with every dollar, every tax dollar that citizens pay. I want to get it stretched as far as we possibly can. It is critical we do so. And there's some people that say, well, you got ARC funds that you can do for payroll. And maybe there's some sense of reality to that. But that is not the purpose of ARC funds. ARC funds was set aside by Congress to do certain things. And payroll was only allowed recently. The bottom line is, it is to improve. We got sewer and water problems. We had a gentleman in here last month, our last meeting, that was complaining about the storm drains up around Frank's garage. It blow the drains right off the street. Those are the kinds of things that ARP money is really defined to do. And there's lots of things that go along with that. Life is one of them. And I am much more inclined to do it that way. And it's not without sympathy to the citizens. Because first off, ARP money is temporary. We might get another dose of it this year, and that might be great. But it's not going to be next year, and so forth. The bottom line is we've got to learn to work within our budget now. We can't depend on this artificial thing one time that might get us through a couple of months. We got to learn how to get through on our own. And I am adamant about that. And I know our chief financial officer has been preaching that to me as well. That we've got to do that if we're going to survive. So, if everybody's got this, they're welcome to read it. But what it really boils down to is, if you ask me, do I have a plan for getting us through this? I do. I do. It's been the same plan I campaigned with, the same campaign that I'm doing now. We have a comprehensive plan. A comprehensive plan is just that. It is comprehensive. It takes into account the residential. It takes into account the downtown. It was done through committee meetings, through people, the public, over a course of many months. It was not just something that was thrown together by an individual, it was thrown together by the citizens of Monessen. And it basically says you're going to shrink the downtown area. We're going to eliminate the blight. We're going to bring in new businesses. We're going to do all these different things. We're going to get our tax base back up. We've got to, because there's just no future if we don't. So, in order to do that, we are part of the stamp program with the DCED, the Department of Community and Economic Development. That is a state thing. And as part of that, we need to get ourselves a community development director. We've already applied, we've already demonstrated to them that we are in financial difficulty. They will pay, I think, 90% of the salary for this person. But this community development director needs to help us with the implementation of the comprehensive plan. And there are many different tools that we can use to do that, and that's really where I want to go. This next week, I will be working with the solicitor to do everything we can with the DCED to get that position opened up and going. We need to work very much with the county commissioners because they got this art money that we need for blight and Monessen. We need to work very closely with the state and private investors. I'll tell you a little story here, and I'm not going to say that I buy all of this, but I know that where it came from, and it's not something I want to discount either. So there's an individual which will be here hopefully soon. I was hoping he'd be here today, but he's not. His name is Jason Degoni. Jason Degoni is a nonprofit, but he's one of these very dynamic individuals that really he's a developer. And that's really the best thing to call him. He is a developer. He wants to develop things. He doesn't care if it's building a commercial building or building a house. He wants to build things. And he does this through getting public funds and public monies. So he goes to the county commissioners and he sells them pretty much as he sold me. And he is now going to be working very much with Brian Lawrence, who is the chairman of the Westmoreland County Redevelopment Authority and the Westmoreland County Land Bank. He has two hats, he just flips them around, he's different people, different days. But anyway, with him, he says, okay, you guys got $12 million in Westmoreland County to do this? Let me go to the state. He goes and meets goes to Harrisburg. He meets with Senator Kim Ward, who is the Speaker of the Senate. She says, you know, Westmoreland County has this problem. They got to spend this money because the feds are after them to spend this art money. Well, it turns out the state has the same problem. She says basically, if you can get $12 million out of Westmoreland County, we'll match that. We'll give you another $12 million. Now, Jason Degoni, being the kind of person he is, and I know which one it is, so I'm not going to say because that just creates problems. He went to one of the top 5 companies in this country, and they said, you know what? Westmoreland County is a land of opportunity. We'll double that too. Now we're talking $48 million. Now, maybe this is true. Maybe this will happen. Maybe it won't. I'm not going to promise anything. But you have these people that are so dynamic that they're talking to the right people that have these kinds of resources to really make it happen. We in Monessen need to unite behind that. It is a unique time in our history. We will never have this opportunity again, and I think it's going to happen this summer. Now, that's not to confuse everybody with all that we've got going on, because just today, just at 3 o'clock today, we entered into an agreement with Pinvest and put our name on $2.3 million worth of loans for the sewer project. This is going to be for 9th Street, for Delaware, and 3rd Street. These are the worst of the sewer lines that we have. Now, everybody knows we work with USDA too, so let's not forget that as well. But without these lines being fixed, we're not going anywhere. These are the worst of the worst. Now, let me finish. So next comes, what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? When are we doing our closing of the PNC? We're done. We have also got a $15 million loan that we've done with PNC Bank. which is part of the USDA. This is a project that will go manhole to manhole, fixing wires. They'll say this manhole goes to that manhole through a pipe that goes from here to there. They'll take both of them off, they'll do the investigation, figure out what needs to be done there, and they'll fix it. Manhole to manhole to manhole. And they'll do as many of those as they can for $15 million, basically, in essence. And that doesn't work unless you do these main things that we're doing with Pendesk. I know our solicitor is probably going to turn gray if he hangs around here very much longer, because that Pendesk was a doozy. As of yesterday, we thought it was going to be delayed for a couple weeks. There's just some legality issues that were cropping up about who has first right of lien against Monessen, whether it's Pendesk or, it's just a long story. But it all came to conclusion today. We are full speed doing a $17 million worth of sewer work starting this summer. So we got, there's $5 million that kicks in at the end of this. If we do everything right, we'll get $5 million more at the end of this. Bottom line is, never before has Monessen had so much opportunity as we got today. And it's a big undertaking that we're doing, but I'm convinced that the city can do it. I'm convinced that we can, if we work together, we pull up our pants, put our big boy pants on and do it right, we can actually make this work. We can make this work for the city. I'm convinced of it. And that's where I'm going with this whole thing. If anybody wants to take this and read that, they're more than welcome to. I don't want to get into a lot of discussion now, we wait till later, but if you got something quick.
I want to ask a question. All them houses across the street, are they gonna tear them ones down too?
I'm looking to tear down every single blighted house, every single blighted commercial building, every.
527, 525,
I'm talking about hundreds of homes.
that whole
are blighted.
circle across from Del Rosa's, tear that whole circle
Right.
down.
But by the same token, if there's homes that can be rehabbed and rejuvenated, I've got a meeting tomorrow, as a matter of fact, with Habitat for Humanity. These are people that take prospective homeowners and property and make it work. So there's many things going on. And it's going to be busy, I promise you. I don't have a lot of hair left, but you know, that's what I signed up for. So that's what we're doing, and I've more than taken up my time, so we need to get on with it. Councilman Kelly.
No, I have a couple comments.
Okay.
On the best medical. Have you read the promissory note?
I have.
So what
Mike?
legal actions can we take outside
Use
of
your mic.
suing?
Turn your mic on, but I mean, you're exactly right. It would be legal actions. If they just defaulted on it, we'd have to take legal action.
Yeah, because there's no teeth in that promissory note. Whoever wrote that did not write that for the benefit of the city of Monessen.
Well, it's a promissory note. Promissory notes have
There's
legalities associated with
there's nothing in there that says it reverts back to the city.
it. No, but it is something
If
you
it
can take.
reverts back to
some-
the city, the only way we can do it is sue them, and the law, the fees on that would be astronomical.
Not only that, but the building is absolutely worthless right now. It's got $1 million worth of damage to it.
It's immaterial, but the promissory note was,
Well, maybe it was.
It's
We can't
worthless.
change that.
it's worthless. There's a lot of things you can't change. And as far as our net position, just what we're doing this year, you're going to increase our debt by $17 million. So we're going to go from $8 million all the way up to $25 million just in this 1 year's.
Right, but bear in mind that when you do sewer repairs, you're also increasing your assets as
understand
well.
that.
So the assets go up as well.
I understand that, but you're adding to it. And it's just the way it is, it has to happen.
It's all not a negative. For every dollar you put into fixing it, you get $1 worth of assets go along with it, so.
Well, hopefully you're correct. But the people should be aware that that's coming, you know.
Well, absolutely.
I have some other questions, but I need to do some research before I get into it. I disagree with the ARP funds, the way you want to handle them. I think you do have an opportunity, and you should really think through what you're going to do with that.
And I will, and I will continue to think it through, but our funds is only a couple months in any event if it was used for payroll.
Well, you got $340,000 coming this year by June if you apply for it, right? That can make a significant difference to the finances of the city. It could set us straight as far as this year and help to get us ahead, especially something where you can take ARP and pay for something like your labor costs. And you can take that other money that you would save and you could invest that into paying for your MMO for next year. And also you can take that $190,000 coming from Best Medical and you can pay off.
I'd be more than happy to sit down with you, we can do a forecast and study this till the sun goes down. I got no problem with that.
Mayor, may I make a comment, please?
Please.
In regards to the MMO,
Uh-huh.
the only one that's delinquent is the 2021, and that is accruing interest based on the actuarial study. And if you pay anything, I would suggest you pay the 21 first.
Absolutely.
The 22 isn't due till December 31st.
That's fine, I have no problem with that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Orchowski, would you please present your,
You sure you want me to do finance now?
it's your turn.
Okay, I need to make a motion to move $5,000 from the general fund to the healthcare fund.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I make a motion to pay the following invoices from the rec board in the fund of, and that is wrong, it should be $159.98.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Chakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Make a motion to pay the invoices from the general fund in the amount of $92,269.64.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Chakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the invoices from the Parks Fund for the amount of $937.84.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Chakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
And I'd like to make a motion to pay invoices from Liquid Fuels Fund in the amount of $17,605.63.
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Chakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Mosher?
Yes.
Okay, and going back to Mr. Telegraph's question. We have in the general fund around $627,076.28. After you subtract the healthcare fund move, it comes down to 500, let me see. We're down to 529,816.64. And we had to move payroll, $64,000 for payroll. We're around, after we pay the bills, it'll be around $465,698.70. The rec board will have a balance of $1,501.78 after tonight's motion to pay the bill. The parks will have a total of $8,378.15. Liquid fuels will have $89,093.95. The grant fund has $57,894.53. Fire escrow fund has $54,044.83. And the debt service fund has $312,113.84. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. One other comment to really make, you were asking about that 48,000 in CDBG.
Yeah, you take it out?
No, the CDBG is a different fund altogether. It's not in our possession. CDBG is a fund that's maintained by DCED, and your question would be perfectly addressed to our next public hearing when we talk about those funds, when we have Walt Pagman here. It's spread across many years and not an easy thing to answer. Okay. Lois?
Good evening, everyone. The Streets and Public Improvement Report was read at our April 14th council meeting. We have a Monessen Public Library report. 817 items were checked out by Monessen patrons. They had a people count of 1,612 patrons who entered the library. Reminder that the budget of 2022 is available on the library's website, and the library will resume in-house adult programming on May 14th with world-famous Bigfoot UFO researcher Stan Gordon. They've already resumed in-house programming for the children. Just want to get out a very special and big thank you to those who participated in last Saturday's cleanup. It was just the beginning. We're going to try to plan at least one a month throughout fall. We had 23 total people who participated in the cleanup. About 5 teachers brought about 12 students from Monessen Junior Senior High School who worked tirelessly. They worked from beginning to end, no sitting down, no slacking off. They worked really hard. And I just want a special thank you to those young people and the teachers who chaperoned them. Just also a special thank you to the Mon Valley Salvation Army. I just said, one day I just said, hey, can you bring maybe some donuts? The donuts turned into coffee and juice and breakfast bars and fruit, and also pizza for everybody who participated after the cleanup at Anthony Madison Park. So just wanted to actually thank them once again. We got a lot done in just the time period that we were out there. A group started at the bottom of Schoonermaker, worked up 9th Street, collected all the garbage. Then a group worked on Knox Avenue, worked on McMahon Avenue, up Knox, worked on a part of Division, and then they worked on a part of South 14th, and then even went to State Road and finished up there. Just a special thank you also to Dave Feehan, who used his constable car to have the lights, especially on State Road. Because that traffic, they speed, I never saw so much speeding on State Road. So he made sure that the students and the workers were safe. Also a special thank you to Officer Gray. He just came around throughout the whole cleanup, making sure that we had what we needed and that the workers were safe throughout the cleanup. There were just so many people who pitched in, and just wanted, if I omitted a name, and just, hard to take it to my mind and not to my heart, and just know how much we truly appreciate it. We had a call, so if there is a city, if there is a street or a neighborhood that needs cleaned up, if you're from that street or that neighborhood, if you can get 2 or 3, at least 2 or 3 or 4 to join in, we will get some more to help. But we can't just come and clean your neighborhood. You have to participate in helping us clean up your street. So if you get 2 or 3, we can bring at least 3 or 4 or 5 to help. You got 4 or 5 people, you can do a neighborhood. Okay, so if there's a bad place and you got somebody to help, give us a call and we'll come and pick a day to help you do your neighborhood. Okay. But thank you once again for that. But that's all I have right now.
Thank you. John?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of council, administrative staff, and the citizens of Monessen. Here's the following report for the Public Safety Department. Police Department's receipts in the month ending of March 2022. We have $550 in parking permits, miscellaneous collections, $45. Court receipts from District Magistrate's Office for vehicle code fines collected, $710.59. Crime codes fines collected, $617.95 for a total of $1,320.54. Total receipts collected for March 22, $1,948.54. Total citations / arrests for March 2022 is 72. The Mon Valley Emergency Medical Services. Here's the following report for the Mon Valley Emergency Medical Services insert report for March 2022. Emergency calls 155, fire standbys 8, total incidents of 163 incidents. Here's the following public safety and code enforcement activities following for March 2022. We have $300 for plumbing licensing, building permits $300, mercantile machines $18,935, chicken permits $100, street opening permits $5,600, sign permits $275, excuse me, eat and drink license $75, health inspections $225, habitation permits $700, landlord fees $9,125, yard waste pickup $100, for a total of $35,735. Year-to-date currently is $49,750. So I thank the administrative staff and code enforcement officer Marvin Davis for his diligence. The code activity for March 2022, we have an issue of habitation permits 11, correction letters sent out 24, animal complaints 2, citations 4, inspections for health 2, building permits 2, office meetings with residents 12, zoning permits 2, demo permits 2, hearings 2. Here's the Monessen Fire Chief Report, Station A1, ending in March 2022. Automatic fire alarms 1, structure fire 2, wires down 3, trees down 2, motor vehicle accidents, entrapment 1, vehicle accidents 5, EMS assistance 10, landing zone 1, natural gas 4, smoke scare 1, electrical fire 2, trash fire 1, total calls 33, total responding time 368, average responding per call 11.15, total man hours 404 total man hours. I thank the municipal chief fire chief for all of his help, and both stations and companies as well. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution outlining emergency management coordination issues with the City of Monessen and with the County of Westmoreland for the upcoming year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions on the motion? Could you explain that a little bit for us, please?
Excuse me, sorry, Mayor. Yes, this will, if I'm correct, Mike, this will just help us with coordinating with the city and county and FEMA, and outlining any, past dated, outdated references to FEMA and their issues like for hazmat and hazard.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Dawn, before, one more thing I forgot to mention, if you don't mind. I'm not going to mention any names because they don't want me to, but there is a core group of citizens and residents of Monessen that always helps with the cleanups. I mean, whenever I say we're having a cleanup, they're always there. They're bringing their weed whackers, their lawnmowers, their own, gasoline, their own equipment, pruners, cutters, to help in whatever manner I need them. So I just wanted to let them know, they didn't want me to mention their names, but they did their own special cleanup on McKee before the cleanup, did their own special cleanup on Knox and around the viaduct before the cleanup. I mean, whenever I say, hey, you guys got time, they're available. So just a special thank you to them, and they know who they are, and just want to let them know how much we, the City of Monessen, appreciate them. And we just hope that others will join in and help to make Monessen the beautiful city that it has always been. But let it look that way, and not just be the people. Let it look that way also.
Too
So
bad
thank
you
you.
can't find the people who are doing all
Yeah,
this
right.
messing.
Thank you. We still need to call a vote on that motion, too.
Yeah.
Did we have a second?
Second?
We have a second.
Yeah, we did.
Councilperson Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Nestor?
Aye.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor motion.
Yes,
All right, thank you, Mayor. I yield the floor.
thank you. Councilman Gregor, would you like to give your report?
Parks Department report for March 2022. Picked up leaves in the park, put up a new sign renaming Ninth Street Park to Anthony E. Madison Jr. Veterans Memorial Park. Cleaned the Civic Center as needed. Also did repairs to the door, sink, etc. Started getting the fields ready for spring sports. Got the porta-john delivered to the ball fields and park. The water for the facilities at the ball fields will get turned on in April when the weather breaks, and help the street department as needed. Also, we had an incident down at the police station. And Mr. Heppel, what day was that? For when the, yeah.
About a week ago, a little over a week ago, the fire alarm went to sparking and started.
Yeah, the fire alarm went off in the building, and the officer on duty went to reset it, and it sparked and started smoking. So we need to get some bids for the repair and restoration of the fire alarm and related apparatus at the city of Monessen #1 Fire Company and police station. There are 3 vendors right now we're talking to, Guardian, ADT, and Comcast, that are preparing bids for consideration over the next few weeks to present to the city of Monessen. We also have discussion of activity and recent events relative to the John Deere tractor repair and related building issues discussed at the last meeting. Tony, you've been talking to that guy?
He has never called me back.
Amazing. I still have a problem with the fact that we have a plan where they're supposed to have an extended warranty on this piece of equipment. The guy comes down and looks at it, says it's not the brakes, and then he leaves, and he sends us a bill for $600 and some. I believe the vehicle is still making the noise, and sooner or later, we're going to, it's something's wrong. Something's wrong. Now, you come down, you expect us to spend this kind of money, and you can't tell me what's wrong with it. But you just look at the operator and say, it'll be okay. They're operating heavy equipment, and I know when they start making a noise like that, something is going to fail. We didn't pay that bill, did we?
No, we did not. We did not pay the bill, but we received a check, unbelievably, from John Deere Financial through Murphy's in the amount of $1,105 to pay the $606 bill, and leaving us a remainder of the $494.18. That happened today. That needs to be discussed with the whole council on how that works.
Well, that was, we got a check for $494.18.
We did. But I mean, they are paying the 606 out of that, 606.90. And
So the warranty's covering this.
I believe that is, but we have to find that out, and Councilman Orchakowski was going to work with Murphy's to find out what.
Well, I'm going to work with John Deere Power Plant.
Or John Deere, yes, yes.
But apparently it looks like our park is just as bad as our bike because they paid the bill.
They did.
They paid the full bill off. John Deere did.
And we got a check for $400 some.
Yeah, it's in your packet.
Well, you can't beat that with a stick.
But there's still
Would you
something wrong
like,
with
would you
the
like me to
route.
get more?
Yeah, as much as you can.
Okay.
But we still need to
How long
find
is
out
no
what.
warranty, because there's still something that's
Yeah,
wrong with
we
it.
have to
That's
identify
a
somebody.
6-year warranty.
Yes.
Okay.
We gotta find somebody else. If they can't do it, we can
Yeah,
find somebody else.
find somebody.
I'll follow
Delmer,
up.
where did we get that?
They bought it from John Deere on they bought it from Murphy's Tractor on 66, that John Deere dealer. The only other John Deere dealer I know for heavy equipment is, and tell me if I'm wrong, Hep, is all the way up in Newcastle. near the Butler Fair
And the
Dance.
reason why we always dealt with this one is because there ain't no.
I mean, that's what I would have said to go too, you're right, but,
The extra 400 is for my medical expenses when it breaks up.
I was gonna go for that beer cup holder, but if you don't want it, that's fine too. Let me find out what's going on here, but this is really confusing,
Yep.
how they mystically had 110408 go away, and then they sent another check for 49418 from John
Right.
Deere.
That 110408 was a credit, and then they sent the check, and I couldn't understand how that
We just
mystically
got this
happened.
in today.
Yesterday.
No,
That was
there's
it.
no balance here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's zero balance.
Anything else about that?
No, there's just stuff, I don't even know what to say.
I just have a question. I have a question, Mayor, before we open up the floor for public comment. I just wasn't too sure if we were able to find any assistance here in the buildings and all that for.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about.
We're meeting tomorrow on that. There are 3 bids in, and we're going to discuss what's come in, and then I'm going to present it to you guys for
You have
consideration.
my cell number?
Yes.
Give me a hour.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mayor.
At this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comment on any item.
I just have one question from an earlier comment that was made. Is that PISBEST program going to take care of the problem that's down there in front of Frank's Garage?
I hope so. I truly, sincerely hope so.
Okay, that's what.
If it doesn't, we will do something more drastic, but that is our first shot. And that is where they're starting with that project too, by the way.
Yeah, considering how many times he just flooded out.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, you gave a great presentation about how everybody got to work together and make the city move ahead. There are 2 back doors that are open. Okay, one is, how could you negotiate with this out-of-town Virginia Best Buy when he has already broken all these conditions that he was supposed to fulfill? How could you sit down? And I'm afraid you're gonna let it go past June because of his nice way of manipulating people. He has a history of this,
I understand.
okay? And if you let him get away in June,
Then I have you to answer to.
but you're not gonna have a case against him if you're gonna keep aiding and abetting.
I have not aided and abetted him yet, so
Well,
don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, June is only 1 month away now.
I understand, and I'm looking forward to getting a check.
Okay, one more thing. I asked you in the very beginning, what are you gonna do with that property at $500? Because I hear through the grapevine, and this isn't about everybody coming together and doing Monessen, that once it goes down, that whole block is gonna go to Douglas School.
No,
Well,
no.
that's what I'm hearing.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. There's several different ideas that have been tossed around, and this will become something that we'll be all talking about more before anything's decided. I promise you that. But one thought would be that Douglas College has some 300, 400 students that have housing all over Monessen. What if they were to have a dorm downtown, upstairs, and downstairs would be retail stores? That's just one possibility.
He's getting away with everything.
No, it's not giving them anything. It would be for rent.
He accumulated all his properties the same way. Everybody was giving him carte blanche. He could do whatever he wants.
He didn't get, nothing, he didn't get anything for free. He bought every single thing he did. I know he bought everything
Yeah,
from
dirt cheap, that's how he bought it.
several $100,000, but whatever, that's not neither here nor there. Bottom line is that that's just one idea. Another idea would be, why don't we go talk to somebody like AHC, UPMC, or some other health center and put in a little health center right there? Perhaps, and you look at the demographics for Monessen, it's getting older and older all the time, it'd be perfect to be able to get your MRI or CAT scans locally, or whatever the
Yeah,
case
but
may
he's
be.
not proportionately sharing the cost. He's not.
Ernie,
Go past that one. That's only one thought. We're not there yet. We're not doing that one. Okay? Another thought would be, what is the most popular thing that we have? What is the thing that's really Monessen's known for right now?
Nothing.
I disagree.
That's cool.
Restaurants. We have some of the best restaurants. If you go to By George or any of the restaurants in town on a Friday night, there's people from Pittsburgh, there's people from all over the place that come to Monessen because Monessen's known for some quality food. Maybe we bring them all together.
You
for a
have
little-
Chezzi's, By George's.
Loaded.
I mean, we have a lot of restaurants in town that we are noted for.
Yeah, we are known for it. It is truly something. But it's just an idea. All I'm saying is, it can be anything that the citizens of Monessen think that it needs to be. Now, there are, as Jason Degoni be the first one to tell you, there are data sets that you can look at. ESRI and others have data sets that look at demographics, that look at do surveys, that talk about, know what kind of money is being spent by different neighborhoods on different things. Maybe this data can say, we need a Starbucks, or maybe we need a Sheetz, or maybe we need something else. I don't know, but the data can tell a lot about what the habits are of the citizens of Monessen. So that's one possibility. Any way that you do it, though, it's got to be something good for Monessen. It's going to be different. It's got to be something good. Maybe none of those things I said. Maybe somebody's got a better idea. A studio. We've had Paramount, we've had Netflix, we've had Showtime all do a movie production in Monessen.
Yeah, well,
Every time they do their thing, they have to go to Pittsburgh to put
what
it in the
happened to
studio.
Rust? There's a murder completion coming back.
That was in New Mexico, sorry.
Still, you're the same company.
Not even.
Hey, Mayor, real quick on that note about the restaurants. You know, for us that did sit on the comprehensive plan, that was one of the biggest worries. The amount of money that is being taken out of Monessen and spent somewhere else. Now that we have people outside of Monessen spending money here, that's part of the plan that's already coming to be. Now you have to think wide open, like you're saying, with something else, you know, another reason to come here.
Absolutely.
Restaurants are, it's working the way it should. People are coming here to eat, we're not going there to eat.
Absolutely. We got to think out of the box. We got to think different. We got to think about what we want in this area. And to be honest with you, you sit there and look at that little block there, there's nothing. You still got blighted properties across the street. You got blighted properties on Donner, blighted properties on Schoonmaker. It's all got to be part of the plan. It's all got to go. It's got to be becoming that part of
You
that
need
blight
one
plan.
big employer with 1,000 employees.
Or-
That's who's gonna change the city.
Maybe it's 1,000 employers with 2 employees.
No, that ain't gonna work.
The vast majority of people in this country are employed by small employers.
I will disagree with you, Ernie.
Yeah, I will too.
Small businesses employ more people in the United States than
That's across the
large.
whole country.
Exactly.
Not here.
We need it in small
You
business.
need that here, because what happens if that big company pulls out? Look what happened across the street when Will and Pittsburgh went out.
Well, who negotiated?
It doesn't matter who negotiated. They pulled out because the steel mills weren't making any money anymore.
You know, Ernie, the other thing is, everybody has great ideas, you're gonna have great ideas, we've heard about it. I was here when they did the comprehensive plan. The one thing that kills this city, and Dawn says it a lot of time, and this is just one of the comments tonight, this rumor mill in this damn city would kill anything, go faster than anything. It's gotta stop. If you're gonna put pride in your city and you're gonna work we're all gonna work,
He even mentioned.
but wait a minute, we're gonna all work to do it better, but don't hold anybody to the teeth to saying, rumor is, so-and-so's gonna take this building. I never even heard that rumor.
Well, maybe he's not getting around with it.
Well, maybe somebody, whoever's spreading it, is spreading something that isn't even true or even
It's
been
just,
brought up.
there's thoughts. And if you just take thoughts and turn them into facts, that's just wrong. The only way to turn them into facts is with collusion with everybody
I
involved.
brought it up to see what answers you got,
And there you
okay?
go. There you go.
Yes, my name is Chris Paglia. I live at 1101 Graham Avenue. I just wanted to give a brief public update on Madison Memorial Park. As most of you know, we had a rededication ceremony at the end of February. We have since formed an executive council made up principally of the Madison family, 4 members of the Madison family, as well as Dave Fee and myself and Councilperson Thomas. So far, we've actually raised $1,300. which will cover the cost of the flagpole. DHEPL and I are working on that right now. Of course, like so many other things in this country, it's on back order, both of the different kinds that we want. At this point, we would hope that the flagpole could be installed by Memorial Day, although we're not certainly promising that in any way, shape, or form. But we do hope to have that up. We're also going to start fundraising for the mural designs that we talked about. Councilperson Thomas has been able to working to get a grant, and we would need to match. So we've been looking at numbers with the Monessen family. Our hope is to start the council and open it up to members of the community. One thing that we definitely talked about was doing open meetings at Monessen Park. The second Tuesday of every month, just come up, meet at the park, do a little walking tour, see what can be done, what we would like to do, and how we can move forward with that. I definitely want to thank the Monessen family. They've been absolutely wonderful. We're working on getting a replacement banner for Tony Jr., who is Anthony's son. So it has been ordered. That will be placed somewhere near Tony's banner up at 9th Street at Monessen Park. The one thing that I would ask, separate from all that, is that you all keep an open mind in developing this city. And the one reason I say that is because last Thursday, the state of New Jersey started selling marijuana legally to its residents. 12,000 people stood in line that day at 12 different dispensaries in the state of New Jersey, and the state made $2 million in one day. Now, I know that still has a tendency to be a taboo subject, particularly with older residents. However, Pennsylvania has a proven medical marijuana program, and we are moving in a bipartisan direction toward legalization. However you feel about it, it is a money-making operation that is here to stay. The companies and the dispensaries in and around the Pittsburgh area alone employ more than 12,000 individuals. So all I ask is that you keep an open mind on everything that you try and develop, and I thank all of you for your time.
Just two real quick comments about that. First off, keep in mind that next week we're going to have another CDBG meeting. The purpose of that meeting, well, one of the purposes is to move $90,000 to 9th Street Park. So you need to start thinking, what can you do with $90,000 in 9th Street Park? And it will have to be run through WEC Engineering. They will put together all the estimates, but that can be a big boost to what you're doing there.
No, that's great.
That's the first thing. Second thing is you're right about the medical marijuana, or marijuana in general. Look at Jeanette. Jeanette used to have a lot of life. What they do, they now have a marijuana producing plant in Jeanette. And it has just about radically changed Jeanette. Jeanette is a different place now. But
No, I appreciate it.
some comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Nancy Horvath, is it on?
Yes.
Yeah, 1417 Arlington Street. My trash wasn't picked up this morning, and I'm not sure why. I threw away all the information from the new company that's now picking up our trash, and all I have is the date thing. So there might be something on there that the old group would pick up and this new one is not. Do you know if?
I do know that maybe Marlene and I know Amy has a phone number and a website that they can go to get that corrected. Could be just simple accident, I have no idea.
I've always put grass out, I've always put clippings from shrubs, for years and years I've done that. And I think my cans were the only ones that were not picked up today.
Well,
So
would
I
talk to
don't
them
know if
and
that's the
find-
reason.
They can find out.
I'll do that.
Nancy, there is a list of things that they don't pick up that the other garbage companies did.
That's what- And
So
then
you
that's,
can probably do
I
one
remember
time.
something about separating the recycling. Well, I'm the only one on the street that recycles, so what they do with it, I don't know. Am I supposed to not mix cans and glass now? I thought I read something on that original, and I fixed it, so I have to get that information.
They're not recycling glass anymore,
Is that what it is? It's only cans, not glass?
cans and plastics. they quit recycling glass, which is my opinion stupid.
Of all things to quit,
That's
you
most,
think they'd quit the
that's
plastic?
endlessly recyclable, so what do
It's
we
the
do?
easiest to
We
recycle.
quit recycling it.
Well, we were going to have a big boom on starting recycling in this city a few years ago. And apparently it never panned out because I'm still the only one. And I wait and watch to make sure they don't mix it in with the garbage truck. But there was something else I wanted to add. The last time I was at a meeting, it's been a while, I've been kind of hung up for a while, but there was a question about, I heard the word murals, and there was a bill submitted for the payment of the murals, and at that time we were to check if there was a grant.
We paid for
If you had to pay, but then I noticed part of that wall has been blacked out. Is that because it wasn't paid for, or why is it blacked out?
No, I think they painted the whole wall black. Are you talking about the wall that has the Monessen letters?
Yeah, it's not all, Monessen still, but that one section, it did have something on there before, I thought.
No, it just didn't have any.
Oh, it never had
No, just had the letters.
I just
Monessen.
noticed it.
No, it was like that.
I'm just a little late seeing things. Oh, shoot, but it's all right, just wondering.
hiding from me, I didn't see it.
I have been hiding, I had a few.
You should give your phone number to Mike over here. He'll check on the garbage and let you know tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to find that out, because now I have to drag it back up the drive, because they won't be picking it up. I don't know.
We'll make sure something happens in the morning.
All right,
I'll
I
get
have
your
to
number.
find out somehow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Leave on, give it to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were behind me. You don't have anything good to say, do you? Say it anyway.
I have a question. I want to make sure that I'm clear on this.
Use your mic.
The Eastgate building that you were talking about, the old health. Did you say that guy collected $1,300,000 in insurance?
As I understand it, somewhere in that neighborhood, yes.
And how much did he pay for the building when he bought it?
$664,000.
No, 450. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was Kasai's office.
No.
Well,
You only gave it
my other question would be, you can find out. 'cause
Yeah, I've got
I
the
think
document
he'd be
in
pretty good.
my office.
I think the guy did pretty good. The other question that I have, why he
The money's
doesn't,
not due till June, the $190,000. Now, if he hasn't paid the interest on it, I'm sure we could put a lien on it for his, for
that
the
that
interest.
should have been done quite a while ago, before your time.
I thought that, I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, I thought those, that was being paid, and if it turns out it wasn't,
I think he paid some, I remember
No,
him paying
he only
some,
paid one
so I don't know how often he did.
Yeah.
Right.
The
But I
only
know he paid.
understanding that I have, the last time that I heard that building was this. They got the title and the key,
Right.
and we got nothing.
Right.
So we need to do the opposite. We need to file, not to wait till June, he's already a crook.
He has a meeting with you Sunday.
Now, let me find out where he's going.
But you need to get him now, before he spends the
I'm
money.
not sure we have much leg room right now, but after June, we'd have something.
You got a lot of legs
That's all.
But if he's not defaulted, I don't know what he do.
Ruthless with that.
Is there any other public comments? It's now 8:30. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn tonight's meeting,
Is there a second?
April 27, 2022, at 8:30 PM.
All in favor?
Aye.